Hello, everybody. My name is Sylvana. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, author, and book publisher. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I'm going to explain that why in a moment. But today I'm going to be talking about autism in females, that is, girls and women of all ages, and how this has been part of my journey the last year. And very, very interesting things that I've learned. One is that I am on the autistic spectrum, and that's been quite a discovery. And a lot of people have helped me to come to that conclusion, including two wonderful therapists that I've been working with. And I'd like to share that because I feel it needs to be shared badly, especially women in my age group, but for young girls as well. Very often, this is thought of as a disorder for men and boys. Um, and I like to say disorder in quotes because I don't think of it that way. And if you begin to look at different YouTube videos, as I highly recommend you do, if you're interested in this subject, you'll discover that a lot of people don't think of it so much as a disorder as character traits, as a diversity or neurodiversity, which autism is now considered a part of. So it's important, I feel, to bring this out because so many of us, especially women and children, go undiagnosed or underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed throughout our lives, and it doesn't help. It actually causes more problems than it solves. So when we recognize this in ourselves, I think it's so important, especially as women, to come out and share what our experiences are, what we've learned, and what we can pass on to others. And this is good if you know somebody who may have these character traits, or if you feel this relates to you in any way at all, whether it's even if it's for men, because many of the things I'm going to share about are also characteristics of men and boys. They're just not the typical things that we're accustomed to seeing and hearing about. So I'll begin by saying that the problems of misdiagnosis are, I think, from what I've heard and what I've experienced in my own life, what causes the rate of suicide to be extremely high among autistic people on the spectrum. That includes Asperger's, if you're familiar with that, if you're more familiar with that term. It's really important to discover that this is not something that I'm bad, that there's something wrong with me, that I don't fit in, even though I felt that way my whole life. There are reasons why. And it's not because of all the different things that I've been diagnosed with throughout my life. One of the things we have, and there are many things that we have in common, and I'm going to start with that by saying that Sarah Hendrickson, if you've seen her, she's wonderful. Or Hendricks, I think is her name. Or I think it's Hendricks. She really goes into a lot, and I highly recommend listening to her videos if you want to explore more about this. And Paul Micallef is also fantastic. They're my heroes, both of those people. So the things that from them that I've gleaned and that I relate to, that we seem to pretty much have in common, are anxiety, extreme hypersensitivity, and feelings of being different from people in general. This can include the way you communicate. It may not. It can include, and one of the things that I hear all the time as I'm researching autism is that if you've known or if you've met one autistic person, you've met and known one autistic person. That's how diverse we are, just like the general population. So looking at the similarities, so as I've mentioned, anxiety, yes, horrid. Um, I mean, for me, that's just the story of my life. Fear, 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 and sometimes explained, sometimes not. Um, and and the hypersensitivity. One of the things my mother always used to say to me, and I think I mentioned this somewhere in one of my other videos, is stop being so sensitive. So she recognized that in me. But in those days, they had no idea what any of this. I should mention also, I'm 68 years old. And to come to this understanding at my age is the most freeing experience that I've had in my life. And it's given me peace. It's given me elation that, oh, that's what it is. That explains a lot. Um, and that's another reason why you may want to seek a formal diagnosis if you can, or somebody it's not always possible financially, or especially as we get older. And one of the reasons, as we get older, is that we've become so adapted to our way of relating to the world and people around us that it's hard to tease out the autistic traits that we had as children. And I can tell you, as a child, I was scared of everybody. I was very withdrawn. I was very focused on these tiny little details of things, and hypersensitive my entire life, physically, emotionally. Lights bother me. Certain sounds drive me up the wall. I can't stand certain noises that other people don't even notice. And emotionally as well. It's been said, suggested that autistic people don't have the same emotions that everybody else does. And it's such nonsense. It really is. I think that's part of the hypersensitivity too, the empathy. Now, we may not always, like for me, I don't always understand what people are talking about when they're trying to explain how they feel about something. But I do know, oh, do I ever know when I've said or done something wrong? Because you can feel that energy, you can feel that vibe from other people. What I consider to be the autistic part of me is that I don't see it coming, and I get the feeling of, oops, I think I said something wrong, but I'm not sure. That's really hard. But the feeling is from that sensitive nature. The it's like you know what other people are feeling, but you don't know what they're thinking. That's about the best way I can explain it for myself. And that's kind of a scary world to live in too. Um, I really encourage people, all of you out there, not to be afraid of this or to look at it as something bad or, oh my goodness, is this going to limit me? I can tell you, I have already felt and been very limited throughout my entire life. My relationships very badly affected by all this. Why? Because we don't communicate the same, because we don't speak each other's language, so to speak. But once you learn how to do that, and I have been learning how to do that in my relationships with people, all of a sudden there's a mountain of difference between us, where I can suddenly understand what the other person is talking about now that I've learned how my brain works different in my language skills. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to talk about this some more, but I want to see what basically other people are thinking. And, if this is something you're interested in from, my followers, I will definitely talk some more on this. But let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, about the masking, yes. So, oh yeah, I just wanted to finish that part. So with the masking, we become very good at hiding who we are. And I now feel that I have to do the opposite. I have to unmask. I have to be myself. I have to uh, share with the world who I am. And in a good way, part of it is I'm very creative. And that's how I've written all the books and, the artwork, which is up there behind me. You can only see part of it, the music and everything else. So we have some really beautiful things to share with this world. We really do. And I hope you've got something from this and that, you can look it up with other people. Just if you really feel the need, please do some more research on your own. And, I will, probably do another video on this and see how people feel about that. Thank you very much for listening. You all take care and have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you.